Good evening. It's Tuesday, April 7th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi, and we are broadcasting remotely tonight. A trend we are seeing across the country is playing out here in San Diego County. While the number of new COVID-19 cases down, we've had our deadliest day since the outbreak started. County health officials announced 12 more people have died from the virus, 8 women and 4 men. The youngest was 23 years old, the oldest 100. We are told all had underlying medical conditions. There were 50 new cases, the smallest increase in recent days. KPBS reporter John Carroll has the latest.
Today's update from the county began with a sad statistic.
It is with a heavy heart we come before you today. As you will see in the numbers that we report out, today's totals include a loss of 12 lives, our single largest loss of life, which brings our total to 31 deaths from the coronavirus outbreak.
The previous biggest one-day death total was 5. Fletcher has warned of the numbers fluctuating from day to day, and he said today's number should serve as a reminder of the challenges we're facing. Fletcher also pointed out that the county has now added a new category to the overall COVID statistics, people who have been confirmed to have had the virus and recovered. That number now stands at 201.
From the governor, a message for Californians to take care of their personal health. Gavin Newsom revealed a new resource to help the state's nearly 40 million residents do just that. He says it starts with acknowledging the harmful effects of stress.
That stress is manifest. That stress is real. And all of us work through that stress differently.
California Surgeon General Dr. Nadine Burke-Harris has spent the last several weeks putting together guidance for Californians feeling the stress of dealing with our new reality, stress that can manifest itself in ways both physical and mental.
Safe, stable, and nurturing relationships help to protect our brains and bodies from the harmful effects of stress and adversity. If you need help finding resources, visit the Emotional Support and Wellbeing homepage at covid19.ca.gov.
Newsom wrapped up with a dose of optimism found in the latest stats. 15,865 Californians have been diagnosed with COVID-19, a 10.7% increase over yesterday. More than 2,600 now in the hospital, a 4.1% hike, and a little more than 1,100 in intensive care, a 2.1% rise. 31 more people statewide have died, bringing the total to 374. Tragic for the families and friends left behind, but a much slower rise in numbers than other parts of the country, an indication that Californians are doing what's necessary to bend the curve, giving the state more time to prepare for what's to come. John Carroll, KPBS News.
And while the number of deaths from coronavirus topped 12,000 today, health officials monitoring the rate of infection see trends that are offering some hope. It appears social distancing could be working to slow the spread. As Karen Kaifa reports, 2 states that were hardest hit early on are showing some promising signs.
2 of the nation's early coronavirus hotspots are showing some signs of hope. Louisiana.
We're seeing that in New Orleans, that we're having fewer admissions per day. We're also seeing less need for people to be on ventilators.
And New York State approaching a possible plateau in hospitalizations.
If you look at the 3-day average, it's moving down, which is good news.
The optimism still very cautious. New York State still saw its highest single-day death toll on Monday, and Long Island is seeing cases increase.
We see new hospitalizations rising every day, and worst of all is the death toll continuing to rise.
Other hotspots facing challenges include Michigan, especially the Detroit metro area. The state's 2 largest healthcare systems say more than 2,200 staff members are affected by virus symptoms or infection. Cities like Detroit and Chicago and New Orleans are noting an especially high virus toll on African American communities.
There's still a huge gap between races when it comes to healthcare, and this is really magnifying it.
Meanwhile, in Wisconsin, it is primary day after Republicans won court challenges against the Democratic governor's proposal to postpone in-person voting. Voters in long lines and wearing masks, prompting questions about what may be ahead in other states this election year. In Washington, Karen Kaifa, KPBS News.
Today's the day that all essential businesses must comply with requirements to post social distancing and sanitation guidelines near their entrances. All employees of grocery stores, pharmacies, restaurants open for to-go orders, convenience stores, and gas stations must also wear facial coverings. While scarves, bandanas, or cloth masks are not required for everyone, they are strongly recommended. KPBS reporter Matt Hoffman shows us the right way to wear one.
The goal of it is to basically be able to cover your nose and your chin.
Dr. Joelle D'Onofrio Odeman is an assistant professor of clinical medicine at UC San Diego, an ER doctor and the associate medical director for the city of San Diego.
And wear a mask in public.
She says a proper face covering should first be comfortable.
You want something that's breathable. So, when you fold it over and you put it in front of your mouth and your nose, think, can I wear this while I'm grocery shopping?
A variety of different materials will work, but it should be able to pass a light test.
So if you hold it up to a light, can you see through? And if it's one of those materials that's very, very see-through and you're seeing a lot of light through it, it's not going to work, because if light is getting through it, a lot of virus particles and droplets can also make its way through it.
There's a shortage of medical masks for healthcare workers, and officials say the public should not be wearing N95 or surgical masks.
Going grocery shopping is not doing patient care.
While it might be hard, people also need to remember not to touch their face coverings.
You accidentally touched something that had the virus and then you touched the front of your mask, that is now decontaminated. So you have to be very careful on how you're handling your mask. It's not I'm going to wear it out into public, I'm going to get it all germed and contaminated, I'm going to throw it in a purse, I'm going to pull it back out and put it back on my face. That is how you inappropriately use it.
That includes avoiding touching the mask while putting it on and taking it off.
And then using the straps, I'm going to remove it without touching any part of my mask, and then that will go into the laundry hamper.
If you're wearing a reusable mask like a cloth one, you'll need to keep it clean.
Hot soapy water in the washing machine should work, and you can continue to wear it.
If you're worried about the mask ripping or breaking in the washing machine, try putting it in a pillowcase first.
Or you can make a face covering out of an old t-shirt.
If you have a spare t-shirt, there is a recipe online for you on how to make a mask.
So there really is no excuse not to have one.
This is for everyone. It's for the over 65-year-olds, immunocompromised, the kids, just the overall population, that we're working together to save lives.
D'Onofrio Odeman says public health is everyone's responsibility.
Watching your family and others, because it's going to take a little bit of time, I think, to get used to how to properly wear a mask.
For more information about face coverings during the coronavirus outbreak, go to kpbs.org. Matt Hoffman, KPBS News.
The number of Californians getting tested for the coronavirus continues to climb. KPBS reporter Eric Anderson says, however, that the state's testing ability continues to lag.
The latest numbers show that more than 157,000 people have been tested for the coronavirus in California. Universities, hospitals, and public and private labs around the state are all processing COVID-19 tests of some kind. California Governor Gavin Newsom says he's pleased there's more testing around the state, but it's still short of where he wants to be.
It won't be a couple days where we'll be getting to 25,000 tests on a daily basis. It will be over the course of the next few weeks.
San Diego County medical officials are ramping up their ability to test people for the disease. UC San Diego officials say they're pretty close to being able to check more than 1,000 COVID-19 tests a day. UC San Diego infectious disease specialist David Pride, speaking on KPBS's Midday Edition, says the university's local lab is now processing several different kinds of approved tests.
This is something that most laboratories, including our own, wouldn't do in normal times, but we've got such large patient demand for testing that we felt like if we diversified early, then we would be able to manage to obtain the materials that we needed to meet our patients' demands.
Pride says UCSD researchers are also close to rolling out a test that can deliver a positive reading in just 5 minutes and a definitive negative determination in 15. And he sees some other good things too.
We were expecting demand to be maybe a little bit greater than it is right now, but the social distancing has had such a great impact that we're not necessarily on the same trajectory.
UC San Diego has been processing between 100 and 200 tests a day for the past couple of weeks. That could go up dramatically when the new fast test is added to their testing arsenal. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
And the state has awarded San Diego $3.7 million to assist its homeless population during the coronavirus pandemic. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen says it will help pay for the use of the convention center as a homeless shelter.
The city began moving people from its existing shelter system to the more spacious convention center last week. By Thursday, more than 800 people will be housed here. Mayor Kevin Faulkner gave an update on the efforts at Tuesday's city council meeting.
This is going to help us fight COVID-19 by spreading out our shelter beds, becoming more efficient with our shelter staffing, which has been significantly depleted in recent weeks, and of course our number one goal, protecting some of the people most susceptible to contracting the coronavirus.
People staying at the convention center have access to meals, showers, laundry services, and health screenings. And it's not coming cheap. As the shelter operation scales up, it will cost an estimated $2.8 million per month. And the aim is to keep helping folks after the pandemic is over.
Our goal is to safely shelter those at the convention center, but it's also to help those in our system exit to housing and to bring more people in off the streets.
In addition to the $3.7 million from the state government, San Diego hopes to get aid from the federal government as well. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
It started with a profane attack, followed by an apology letter, and now Acting Navy Secretary Thomas Modly is resigning. Modly had created controversy for firing Brett Crozer, then captain of the USS Theodore Roosevelt, last week. Modly accused Crozer of having poor judgment for sending out an email calling for urgent help with the COVID-19 outbreak on the ship. Modly said he was too naive or too stupid to be in charge of an aircraft carrier. Modly has since issued a public apology. Today, President Trump removed the Pentagon's top watchdog from overseeing the $2 trillion emergency coronavirus funding. Glenn Fine was tapped to lead the committee last week, but now he'll go back to being Principal Deputy Inspector General. No explanation was given. It's now unclear who will oversee the emergency funds. 6 detainees and 5 employees at the Otay Mesa Detention Center have tested positive for COVID-19. Immigrant advocates now fear a wider outbreak in the facility is inevitable. KPBS reporter Max Nadler has the story.
In a federal filing on Monday, the government confirmed that the Otay Mesa Detention Center, which houses both immigration and federal pretrial detainees, has seen its confirmed coronavirus cases balloon to 6 people. As of last week, there had been no confirmed cases. Advocates have faulted CoreCivic, the company that runs the center, for not adequately protecting detainees against the spread of the virus and letting employees spread the infection among the detainee population. On Tuesday, CoreCivic told KPBS that 3 more employees had tested positive for COVID-19, bringing the total number of infected employees to 5. The last shifts for these employees were between April 1st and April 4th, and one of the employees is now hospitalized. Oliver is a detainee from Honduras at Otay Mesa. He doesn't want his last name used because of his ongoing asylum claim. He says his unit was placed in quarantine last week, and he says the guards have misled the detainees about the danger they're in. He says that every day there's more sick people because the virus is here. That's the truth. But they don't tell them the truth. They tell them not to worry. His lawyer, Dorian Edgar Seto, with the National Immigrant Justice Center, says that as of this morning, an official at Otay Mesa Detention Center told her that 4 units are now under quarantine.
As advocates and as people in detention had predicted, the virus was brought into detention, likely by somebody who was going in and out of the facility, and it is now spreading like wildfire within the pods. My client is incredibly worried. His family is really, really worried about his safety.
Some detainees in federal criminal and immigration custody in San Diego have launched hunger strikes to draw attention to the severity of the situation inside the facilities. On Friday, the American Civil Liberties Union of San Diego and Imperial Counties filed a lawsuit against the government, trying to secure the release of detainees who are especially vulnerable to COVID-19. Similar lawsuits across the country have had mixed success in securing the release of civil immigration detainees during the pandemic. Max Nadler, KPBS News.
In Poway tonight, the City Council will meet via teleconference and consider 2 relief efforts to help those affected by the coronavirus. Mayor Steve Voss is proposing the city suspend commercial evictions until May 31st. If passed, the ordinance will protect commercial tenants from non-payment of rent, but tenants will still be responsible at a later time. Council members will also consider a loan program called Poway Emergency Assistance Recovery Loans, or PEARL. The program would work alongside state and federal programs and create a financial bridge during this emergency. And we're following all of the latest coronavirus developments for you at kpbs.org. Just click on the Tracking COVID-19 link on our homepage and you'll be taken to a page with all of our recent reports. You can find that right now at kpbs.org. More rain is on the way, bringing the possibility of flooding and mudslides in some areas. Mark Mancuso has your forecast.
Slow-moving storm with us for the next few days, and that means showers could linger here right into Friday. Not only that, but cold, unstable air means a few thunderstorms around right through Wednesday afternoon. And with heavy downpours in the area and soils becoming more saturated, that could lead to some areas of urban and small stream flooding. In the mountains, snow levels will start to drop down as low as 4,500 feet. Between 4,500 feet and 5,500 feet, we could see 3 to 6 inches of snow, and higher terrain could be looking at more significant snow than that. Flood watches, they are in effect. That continues through Wednesday evening, and we also have some winter storm warnings in some of the mountain areas, and that continues through Thursday morning. Farther south, there will be snow up here in the high country. So here it is, the upper low moving slowly. And that will continue to give us the showers and thunder showers and the mountain snows. Forecast for tonight, down 49 in Oceanside. Ramona's at 44, El Cajon's at 50. Mount Laguna down to 31. A little snow in the air there. Looking at the futurecast for tonight, showers and a few thunder showers into this evening. And then look what happens later tonight. We'll have to keep an eye on the deserts here because it does look like there could be a plume of significant rain moving up through the area later at night, so that could lead to some areas of some flooding there. So there's that band of rain that once that pulls out, we're back to showers and maybe a thunder shower. Looking at our temperatures tomorrow, 63 in Oceanside, El Cajon at 62. Again, Mount Laguna right near freezing with the snow coming on down. That upper low lingers right through Friday, so there you can see right through Thursday here, more showers and some mountain snows. Looking at the forecast for the coasts, well, we see the showers a bit wet there into Friday, then finally Saturday looks nicer. Inland areas, showers and storms tomorrow, then a little bit unsettled through Friday, finally improving Saturday. In the mountains, there'll be some snow and then tapering to showers. Finally, by the weekend, looks better. And check out the deserts, well below average temperatures, and then warming up by the weekend. For KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Mark Mancuso.
The summer travel season is taking a hit from the coronavirus. Southwest is slashing flights by 50% in June, typically a busier month for airlines. The airline already reduced service by 40% for April and May. Southwest says announcing the cuts early will give people more time to adjust their travel plans. Millions of Americans are now going to work or school from home, but those web meetings or virtual classes may not be as private as you may think. Mandy Gaither breaks down what you need to know.
Before COVID-19, you may not have even heard of apps like Cisco WebEx or Zoom. Now, millions are downloading and using web conferencing to stay in touch. But the FBI is warning Americans to be careful. Reports are emerging nationwide of what's being called teleconference hijacking. A stranger disrupts an online class or work meeting to spread porn, hate messages, or threatening language. But there are things you can do to protect yourself. Don't make meetings or classrooms public. Require a meeting password or use a waiting room feature on some apps to control who gets in. Don't share a link to the teleconference publicly. Never post it on social media. Instead, send it directly to specific people. manage screen sharing options. On certain apps, it can be controlled by the host only. Make sure your app is updated. Some companies have stepped up security measures. And if you become a victim of a teleconference hijacking, you're asked to report it to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Facebook is working to predict where COVID-19 will appear next. The social media platform is able to analyze data collected on population movement and connectedness. This can bring insight into the effectiveness of lockdown measures. Facebook says the data shows patterns at a city or county level that can be useful to public health without violating individuals' privacy. Google unveiled a similar program just last week. Like most other things right now, local animal shelters are closed to visitors. KPBS reporter Claire Trageser says this means shelter dogs aren't getting much attention right now, but many locals are stepping up to help by fostering dogs on a temporary basis.
This is Petunia. Petunia's my dog. Say hi, Petunia.
Just like most of us, Melanie Murnane is spending a lot of time at home these days. But she has some extra company.
And then my foster dog, Charlie, is down below here. Charlie, can you say hi? He's looking for a home.
But wait, there's one more.
You want to come out and say hi?
Her second foster dog, third dog total, Baby Girl, hops out of her crate and goes straight for Murnane's face.
Straight out. Oh, there's your giving me kisses, aren't you? Yes, we'll find you a home, won't we?
Murnane has long worked with a dog rescue organization that takes dogs from local shelters and puts them temporarily in foster homes.
And then promote them on social media, either find a home for them, find a long-term foster, or if nothing is found, they go back to the shelter, but with all sorts of notes on how great they are in a home and whether they can live with a cat or a dog or children.
Since the start of the coronavirus pandemic, she's had a lot of company. Lots of people are wanting to foster dogs. The San Diego Humane Society recently asked for foster volunteers and got more than 400 applications in the first few days. About half the animals in local shelters are now in foster homes. On March 11th, before the stay-at-home orders, 156 of the San Diego Humane Society animals were in foster homes. Now there are 342.
And there was a dog that I had interacted with briefly when I was volunteering at the shelter, and he was available.
Mary McAndrew is one of those new foster volunteers.
He was just a perfect match for me to take home.
She volunteers at an animal shelter, but hadn't brought a foster dog home before. She says the new reality brought on by the coronavirus made it the right time to start.
We're home anyway, especially for seniors. I mean, they can't see their grandkids. They can't go to yoga classes. There's so many things that we can't do, but just spending time with the dog is just really, it's fun and it's stimulating.
So McAndrew and her husband fostered a German Shepherd named Maverick.
We've been out walking every day. We've explored parts of our neighborhood that we had never seen before. We've been greeting our neighbors that we've never met before who are out on their porch, and we can chat with them from a distance. We're meeting other people's pets. It's gotten us not to think about what we can't do, but what we can do.
Then Maverick was adopted. McAndrew says she and her husband are already looking for another foster dog to bring home. Even though you can't visit their shelters, you can adopt through rescue organizations or the San Diego Humane Society. Spokeswoman Nina Thompson says their shelters are doing virtual adoptions.
You would have a really in-depth consultation about the pet that you're interested in before you ever even come down.
She says although people can't browse animals at the shelters, adoptions haven't lagged significantly.
We've had more animals going out than we've had coming in.
She's a good girl.
Back at Melanie Murnane's house, she's working to get foster dogs, Charlie Boy and Baby Girl, ready for forever homes.
She's 85 pounds, overweight by about at least 20 pounds. So we're taking her for short walks each day. working on her weight loss.
She says there are other dogs available for adoption too.
Hey, go get it. Hi, Maggie. Sit.
A mastiff named Big Mac and a husky named Houdini. Claire Tregesser, KPBS News.
And while you can adopt dogs from the Humane Society, shelters run by San Diego County's Department of Animal Services have suspended adoptions and don't need any more foster volunteers. A spokesman for the county didn't return requests for comment about why.
I'm Judy Woodruff tonight on the NewsHour, seeking signs of hope. We talk with Bill Gates about how he sees a way out of this pandemic. Coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
Neighbors in Coronado are staying connected during this time of social distancing. The city's Neighbor to Neighbor program splits the village area into 174 blocks. Each block has a captain who is responsible for making sure people have all the information and the resources they need while they stay at home. Amy Stewart, a retired teacher, helped set it up.
It's something that I'll never forget, that neighbors coming together, reaching out and wanting to help. Mr. Rogers honestly would be proud.
And the city of Coronado is helping with the program, offering guidance and information. They also set up the Emergency Operations Center to coordinate volunteers. Now an update on our top story. While the number of new COVID-19 cases is down in San Diego County, we've had our deadliest day since the outbreak started. County health officials announced 12 more people have died from the virus. That brings the total to 31 deaths. There were 50 new cases, which is the smallest increase in recent days. And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Thank you for joining us tonight. Stay well and good night.